Now it's time for the lightning round with Brad Butt. Brad, are you all set to go?
Yep, let's go.
All right, vaccine passports. There's a threat they're coming to Ontario. What's the latest out of the provincial government?
Well, the latest is that Premier Ford has been convinced to bring in some sort of a vaccine certificate or passport program. We were expecting to get that announcement this week. We don't have it as of today, but I would suspect by the end of the week, we'll have an announcement that Ontario was moving forward with a vaccine, a proof of vaccination type of program in some nature. So it's coming.
Brad, the city council met and to talk about mandatory vaccines for employees. How did the vote go?
So yes, City Mississauga Council and now the Region of Peel has also jumped on board. They will be requiring mandatory proof of vaccination. And if you can't provide that as an employee of the city or the region, you will have to be part of a rapid test program to be able to work in workplaces. In Mississauga, we only had one councillor that voted against that, Councillor John Kovac. The rest of the members of council supported the city and the region moving in this direction.
Brad, Dr. Lowe, Peel's chief medical officer, is recommending an employee vaccination policy for workplaces. This is very different. Like, a policy is very different than mandatory vaccination. So what's the good doctor saying?
So Dr. Lowe did fall short of basically a directive saying you must have vaccinated workers at your place of business, but he has sent a directive out and he's asked businesses in the Region of Peel to adopt a vaccine policy in their organization that will be part of their workplace health and safety program.
Brad, we're into the federal election campaign week 3. The Prime Minister has moved away from the Western provinces where he was not received very well. He's back in his home province. How's everybody else doing?
Well, I mean, it's been an interesting campaign in some ways. I mean, it's the dead of summer, so a lot of people aren't really paying attention. But, you know, I think NDP leader Jagmeet Singh has been surprisingly good. Aaron O'Toole and the Conservatives have run a basically solid campaign. I think the Liberals have tripped up a little bit, but I never count Justin Trudeau out of anything. So we're starting to get some good announcements around initiatives that businesses would be concerned about from the party. So whoever forms government, there may be some support going forward.
Let's talk about those promises. It looks like a couple of parties are promising to extend those business supports.
Yes, so both the Liberals and the Conservatives have promised to extend those business support programs. They may name them something different, and the amounts may be a little bit different depending on who forms the government after September the 20th. But the good news is the two parties that are likely to form a government in this country are both committing to continue the business supports that are so crucial, particularly in the hardest hit sectors of the economy going forward.
Brad, this next one was a little bit of a surprise. The Ontario NDP are calling for legislation to protect businesses and employees from vaccine protests. This one was a little bit of a surprise for me. How about you?
Yeah, I was surprised. NDP leader Andrea Horwath announced on Tuesday that her party would be calling for the government to bring forward legislation when the legislature comes back to protect businesses and employees against these protests and in some cases, unfortunately, violence and other issues to make sure that businesses that want to implement a vaccine passport program at their business aren't subject to abuse from the public.
That's it for the lightning round. Brad, we'll see you next week.
Thanks, David.